We're gonna crush it, yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm live. Okay, crap. Hey, hey, everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you are doing great. Sorry, I was singing a little bit. Look at all my friends. I have two. I actually bought those from Walmart. Hey, so we're gonna talk about and I know I'm a little happy right now. Blackstone's default. Blackstone defaulted. Now, I covered this story a little while ago, but we're going to go a little deeper into it. And yeah, I know it's hard not to smile, but here's the facts. Just because you're a massive corporation like Enron doesn't mean you're always going to be around like Enron. And everyone keeps putting all of these corporations on massive pedestals, but just, they go in and out. They go in and out of style, in and out of business. And the fact of the matter is that people need to know that to give them a little bit more confidence to get ready for this next cycle. Now, Blackstone. This story's out of the New York Post. It's entitled Blackstone's Defaulted New York City Office Tower Loan Up for Sale at a 50% discount. Now, when I first did this story, a lot of people in the comments section were shocked that Blackstone actually had a mortgage. Well, they're investors. They know how to make money. They use other people's money. That's how they got big. And so they actually walked away from one of their prime locations. I believe it was their, we're going to probably find out here soon. I'm pretty sure it was their, like their headquarters down in Manhattan. And they walked away, and that CMBS has failed. Now, what people need to understand is every time someone walks away from a loan, someone takes it in the shorts. I mean, honestly, and they need to realize that because that comes out in so many different ways. It trickles down to all of us. Sadly, it trickles down to most of our pensions, and our pensions are weak right now, okay? Now, I know you're probably thinking, Ninja, you're not giving me a lot to be smiling about, but when you're getting ready for a real estate downturn, it is. I'll tell a story in a second about a property I just went to view about a half an hour ago, right after I do this, okay? So it says here, Blackstone defaulted on the $308 million mortgage on a Manhattan office tower more than a year ago. And the debt is now up for sale at a discount of more than 50%. Okay? So remember when we were talking about banks going under in 2023, and I said everybody needs to watch at what those CMBSs, the commercial mortgage-backed securities tranches, or I'm blanking on the term, but the tranche of these securities, what they sell for. And those sold for, I want to say 57 cents on the dollar for Silicon Valley Bank, even though that there were offers in the mid to high 60-cent range. All right. So this mortgage is now on the chopping block. It's literally for 50 cents on the dollar. The reason why it's going so cheap is because no one's paying on those office buildings, or very few. Okay. So that's why. And what's happening as we see more and more of these debts come to the open market for sale, and they're selling for pennies on the dollar, and it's getting worse. It's going to get even worse because as more of these bad debts hit the market for companies to be able to buy and then try and go and claim, it's going to show the real health of the market, and people are going to start to panic. Okay? This is why you want dry powder. All right. So it says here, and again, we're talking about one of the largest corporations on earth that defaulted on this. Special servicer Midland Loan Service was hired by brokerage Jones Lang LaSalle to sell Blackstone's loan, which is backed by 1740 Broadway, a 26-story Art Deco style tower between 55th and 56th Streets, according to Bloomberg, citing people familiar with the matter. JLL has packaged the debt into a commercial mortgage-backed security for $150 million. Bloomberg reported, which was a 51% discount. Now, I'm going to take a poll right now as I have my coffee. Type 1 if you think it is going to sell, because we are going to be covering this, for the $150 million. Type 2 if you believe that it is going to have to go lower. Now, what's really interesting is this is making the news. It's making headline news. This is New York Post, right? Everybody in the next handful of days are going to see this for sale. This is their way of trying to advertise it. This is like an MLS listing on crack, like cocaine. All right. So I believe personally that it is going to sell for less than 150 million. But here's the thing. The government's also watching this. You see, the regulators are watching this and they're scared crapless because when stuff like this hits the market and it hits the mainstream media, everyone's going to watch it. And if it goes under, they're going to, it's going to start a cascade in CMBS. So this is what's happened in the past. There's these little underhanded deals. The easiest way I could describe this, there was a movie that came out, a documentary style movie about the crash of '08. Guys, tell me what it is below, where they had all the time markers. It was so awesome. And they had these moments where the Japanese were trying to come in and buy up some of Lehman Brothers' assets. They ended up walking away pissed off. But there was deals being made with the government and with the private sector saying, look, we will, if you do this, you take on this debt at this price, we're going to grease the skids over here. You're going to get that deal that you always wanted. The Big Short. It wasn't The Big Short. There was another one out there, actually. I don't think it was The Big Short. But anyway, sorry. My point being is that they do these real interesting tricks. And what we just witnessed when the FDIC sold the CMBSs from Silicon Valley Bank for less than the highest bid, that shows you that they wanted to protect those. Something went on. Why? Let me ask you this. Why wouldn't the FDIC sell that debt to the highest bidder? I think it's margin call. I think it's margin call, everyone. My point being is that the reason why is because they know they need it protected. I'm going to give another example. This is akin to when the Fed printed a ton of money and the government allowed it, and they printed a ton of money during quantitative easing after 2008, and there wasn't a hyperinflation. There were a lot of people, including myself, that were like expecting some big inflation, if not a slight bout of hyperinflation. The reason why is because as the Fed monetized debt and they went out and bought that debt to stabilize the system, that debt stayed in their coffers. It didn't move around. You see, without the velocity of money, without transactions happening, there's no money movement. If there's no money movement, then you don't have inflation or deflation. I hope you understand what I'm talking about here. All right, so it says here, given the handsome discount the loan is getting, sources told the outlet that the building could be eligible for an office to residential conversion. They're doing that because of they're using the headlines of the so-called housing crisis, which we are not in, because it has to do with the levels of inventory, because homeowners have golden handcuffs attached to them. They cannot move from their house. This is identical to what happened in 2005. It says the skyscraper has been losing value since 2014. Now, that's something else that most people don't realize. You see, there are a lot of people out there, they're called real estate bros. They think real estate goes up forever, but they haven't actually been an investor before the last crash. This is pretty cool, huh? They actually work for really high people like HUD and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and they got badges as chief economist. I'm like, dude, you're in high school after like 2008. Like, are you what? Who's doing the hiring here? Probably another kid. Point being is this: I'm not discriminating against age. They just don't have the experience, and they think it's going to go up forever, right? But this is what they don't tell you. They love to cite that homes have not been being built like they did in the run up to 2008. But what has been being built is office space and multifamily homes, 5 units or higher, 5 units to 1 million units. They have been exploding in permit pulls since 2010. So this place has been losing value since 2014. Why? It's called competition. There have been more offices built in the last 10 years than in some cities in the last 30 years. As a matter of fact, how many of you can tell me that in the last 8 years, you've watched your even small town USA, you have seen apartment complexes just going up and up and up. And what most people don't realize is how long it takes for that, to go from the conception, the idea, like someone's going to build an apartment or an office building to getting the land, to getting the loan, to getting it built, and then getting it rented. It's a very long process. And just like in 2008, actually the peak of home building came in 2007. We're peaking in apartments and office buildings. This is exciting. I'm looking at a massive complex right now that was built in 2007, and it is almost the size, half the size of a Walmart. Now I want to buy it. I'm just going to tell you my vision right now, because it's about 1.7 million. I think I'm going to be able to pick it up for $1 million, and I'm going to have tons of studios in there. And where the semi trucks pull inside and the doors shut down, that's where our some other cool stuff we're going to do for YouTube is going to be in. And I'm going to have people coming all over the world and film videos, and we can, nobody will know that they're there. It'll be a totally secure site with security, and you'll be able to pull the car in, blacked out windows. They won't even know. And then we could do our interviews and boom, they can leave. Total privacy, and have a kitchen and places to stay overnight. But my point being is that these places are dropping in price this one's already down, 25% since it first went on the market. It's been on the market for over a year, and they're not gonna be able to sell it. Same thing with what's going on with Blackstone. Now, check this out. Like it says here, the skyscraper had been losing value in price since 2014 when the mortgage was originated, and 1740 Broadway, again, we're talking about one of Blackstone's flagship properties that they had rented, they walked away from the mortgage on, right? It was appraised at $605 million, according to loan documents reviewed by Bloomberg. So in 2014, 605, and now they're trying to sell the debt on that property for just 150 million bucks. I just went and looked at a casino for sale, an old casino. $16 million. My buddy Charlie right now is like, all right, Trav, just say it, just say the word. He's ready to go. He loves casinos. But a massive building for 16 million. So these larger properties fall much greater. So look you got a place that was worth over 600 million that's now 150. So what is that? 25%. It's selling for 25 cents on the dollar 10 years later. So, all those, now I know this is commercial real estate, but you're about to experience this in the next couple of years in residential. If you think for a second that real estate goes only up, you're wrong. And all those real estate bros that are trying to sell you a course or a video, a book on why there's never a bad time in real estate, I get that there's deals every day. But by and large, most people don't know how to spot those unless they have some pretty specialized training. So I wanted to bring you this story. Oh, there's one other thing I want to tell you this. Check this out. At the time, Blackstone's EQ, it's a U.S. office portfolio company, had just bought 600,000 square foot property from Real Estate Investment Trust Vornado. It was reportedly full of tenants paying below market rents, with a source telling the Post that EQ overpaid for the building by at least $100 million. Sometimes when you think your rents are undervalued, this goes for residential also, you need to consider who you're listening to. Are you listening to trusted advisors that don't have any skin in the game? Or are you listening to people that have skin in the game and they'll tell you anything that you want to hear to convince you to buy the property? I've had that happen before. As a matter of fact, little note, I remember sitting at a table once with my team in Arizona. And this was in 2003. And my real estate agent showed me a handful of properties, and my property management, the owner of the property management company's there, my lender, and my real estate agent. And they're all trying to talk me into these properties. I'm like, none of these work, none of these pencil. And they're like arguing with me. You could tell they were stressed. They wanted that sale. And I said, with all due respect, I have to remind every single person here, and please take this well. None of you own your own home, let alone a rental property. And you're trying to tell me why I should buy this. And you can't come up with a good reason of how this is going to pencil out. That was a pretty quick conversation. It's actually one of the last conversations I had with that team. You've gotta, if you're gonna play in this game, and it is a game, and it's one of the greatest ways to make money ever. I love negotiations. You've got to understand who your friends are and who your enemies are. And those are sometimes two different forces. They could also be the same. I hope you got something out of this. Thank you so much for watching the economic, where am I? I'm on the Economic Ninja channel. I'm gonna go to the other channel now. Go check out Real Estate Ninja. I'm out. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Go Niners!